It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on Habscast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Habscast. I hope you can hear me okay here. I did not hear the intro by Mr. Dick Irvin, but I think it was maybe because my mic was muted. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful June weather that we're having. Uh, I taped an interview with Guy Flaming yesterday. Those of you who don't know who Guy is, he's uh, he's got his own podcast called The Pipeline Show. I mean, it's been going for years now, like decades. And one of the first guys to really do a podcast, actually, a hockey podcast. He was ahead of his time, but he's like me, loves the draft, loves the prospects. He interviews a lot of them, has them on his show. Check it out there. It's a great listen whenever if you're into draft prospects at all. Guy's a great guy. Um, I've known him 10, 15 years on Twitter, and he's contributed some stuff in the past for recruits, including his uh, his rankings of WHL prospects last year, which I asked him to do for Recruits Draft Guide. We aren't doing a draft guide this year, in case you're wondering. What I am doing, and you can see the post there. I put the link up for Patreon. Um, I have a Patreon page, and it's only $5 a month, folks, to uh, to get to get all the coverage. And I mean, I've got Bob Trask, Blaine Potvin, um, Rick Springhetti, who's got a mock draft done, by the way, and we're gonna post it tomorrow. I've got an article from Bob Trask that's going, another great article from Bob that's going up tonight. Tons of content here. I'm working on a uh, second round of the mock draft. I'm up to 42, but I had to go back, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put out a second. I've already put out a first round mock draft, but I'm going to be doing a second edition here coming up where I do two rounds, but I'll also be revising it because there was a trade today in the NHL where Buffalo and San Jose switched spots in the first round. Um, Michael Kessering, who was part of the JJ Paterka deal last year when he went for from Utah to Buffalo, or sorry, Paterka went from Buffalo to Utah. Michael Kessering was part of the package that came back. He ended up not playing a lot under Lindy Ruff, which was a bit surprising because he was kind of a key to that deal. But anyway, he was a top four defenseman, got big minutes in Utah, and goes to Buffalo, and he, mind you, Buffalo had a pretty strong defense as it turned out, and Samuelson took another step this year and stuff, so he was kind of the odd man out in Buffalo. But what Buffalo did was they packaged him and the 27th overall pick to San Jose to move up to 20 in the draft. So they move up 7 spots, give up their seventh, eighth defenseman. Um, the writing was on the wall when they traded for even traded for Luke Shen to play ahead of him. Have him ahead of him on the depth chart when they traded for Logan Stanley and Shen. Clearly, they weren't comfortable with Kesselring for whatever reasons, but I think he's an NHL defenseman, and I really think that that's the case in San Jose, where they need help uh, on their defense. It's fair to say that there's a lot of work to be done there on their defense. So, um, I think that they'll be addressing it at the draft, but that doesn't. San Jose almost made the playoffs this past year. They're not that far off. If they shore up that defense, they might. I mean, they've got Macklin Celebrini, right? Who I thought, honestly, probably deserved the Hart Trophy if it was voting was up to me certainly ahead of Kucherov, who I would never vote for, but maybe it's a good thing I don't have a vote. Um, anyway, uh, it I think this is a good sign that we're finally, all these years are always saying, "Oh, I hope there's a bunch of trades. I think there's going to be a lot of movement up and down on the draft board." Well, there's already been a movement at what are we 10 days away, 11 days away from the draft, and we've already got some machinations happening here with and with the salary cap going up as much as it is as well. Perhaps this does mean that there'll be more draft pre-draft trades and draft night, Friday night trades where there'll be players involved for teams to, maybe to get a first round pick from somebody else, and also to do the kind of a deal that we just saw today where, a player and a pick go to one team and they get a pick back that's higher up, just like a Buffalo did today. So, um, hey, the Sabres move up into the top 20 on the draft. I could see them targeting something like, I don't know, Oliver Savanto, you know, a big winger or sorry, a big center that can they can plug into a bottom six role down the. He's not that far off, probably because of his size. He's a big boy and good two-way centerman. Maybe that a player like that would not likely have been there at 27, and with them moving up from 27 to 20, the odds increase that he will be there. They've probably identified somebody that they think, well, we think he'll be there at 20, but we want him, but I don't see I see him getting picked, between 20 and 26. So let's give up this player that we're not using anyways, um, to a team that needs him, and move up a few spots on the draft board. So I like the thinking from Buffalo's point of view, but I also really like this for San Jose. They, they're a they have to address the defense. It's by far the weakest part of their team, and you know, I think they'll do it at the draft, but that doesn't address it now. It can be 3-4 years before players you're drafting are really impactful on your team. Mind you, the second overall pick likely helps within a couple of years and is impactful. Uh, does this mean that they don't go with a defenseman now at second overall because they picked up Kesselring? No, I don't think that changes their thought process in that regard. And maybe too, they're thinking, we're gonna we're gonna pick multiple defensemen here, but around 20, we think that the value is in forwards, and that there's going to be a run of forwards that go around the 20 mark. So why not move back a few spots, pick up a defenseman that can help us now, and then draft a blue liner that we think will still be there at 27 anyways, and then they keep addressing um, this need of theirs to, like, they've picked a pile of talent at forward over the past few drafts. It's time for them. I thought they were doing it last year too, and I mean, they got Dickinson, but they didn't go defenseman up at the top of the draft. I think that you know, th- what most people think is right defenseman, right? They've got Sam Dickinson, who they hope will be their first pairing left defenseman, but they don't have that right D man that can run a power play, that can hopefully be on their top pairing with Dickinson, and that's likely Chase Reed. But you know, I mean, I think it'd be hard to pass on Stenberg, but uh, for me, what that maybe this is the first move uh, by Mike Greer and the Sharks. Maybe they move down. I still think that that's their smartest move, is to move down 2 or 3 places. Let somebody else, somebody else that maybe wants, like Chicago. Okay, Chicago would like Stenberg quite a bit. Maybe, of course, perhaps they're thinking, well, Vancouver is going to take Malhotra at 3. Uh, San Jose's got to take a defenseman. That leaves Stenberg for us anyway. So why would we have to move up? Maybe it becomes difficult for them in that regard. I know the Rangers could use Stenberg. They could also use Carson Carrolls and a bunch of other defensemen. So it's hard to say, but um, if I'm San Jose, I'm at least exploring that possibility where you know you move back to 4, 5, or 6, get one of the 5 defensemen that are all kind of grouped together there, and go from there, right? We'll see. We'll see what the thought process is at the draft. What usually ends up happening is they identify a prospect, they don't move. Another team doesn't want to move up. They've got their guy slated at 4 or whatever. But for me, Stenberg is the second best prospect in this draft class. I've got him ahead of Chase Reed, and you know I think it might make sense for San Jose to explore moving back a couple spots, getting a defenseman, picking up another asset, maybe another defenseman, and have two blue liners that can help the team now, picked up by moving down in the draft. They already got Kesselring. Maybe they can get another one if they move down a few spots in the draft. This was an interesting photo that was at the Brassard the other day, and got me thinking. Um, have things been patched up between the Habs and Brendan Gallagher? He was hanging out at the rink. He's got a Canadian shirt on. I mean, if he was completely done, um, if he was completely done as a Montreal Canadian, what's he doing going to the rink? What's he doing wearing a Habs t-shirt? Is he really that disgruntled? Um, this makes me think. Now, this is, of course, it's speculation, right? This makes me think that perhaps um, he, well, not only perhaps, but it's a pretty good bet, I'd say, that um, Kent Hughes, maybe Gorton, maybe Marty too. They brought in Galley, and I mean, after that emotional interview press conference, they had to be feeling that, hey, maybe this isn't a good look, but also just I'm sure they feel bad for Galley, like we all did. So man, they have to too, right? So got him into the office and said, "Look, Brendan, you know, um, we still believe in you here. It's just the numbers, this and that. We don't want you to go out on such a bad note. There's no guarantee that we trade you. Who knows, but at least at the very least patch things up with them, and uh clearly there was a conversation, or I don't think he'd be showing up at the arena after what he said that day. Showing up at Brassard to watch Jurowski and guys train wearing a Canadians. I know he's still a Montreal Canadian, but it tells me that there's been some fencing, some mending of fences has occurred since the last game of the season and the press conference that or whatever the locker room interview with Gallagher that we all saw and were very he was emotional. We were emotional. It wasn't a good look for the Canadians, and I think that they've done they've attempted to mend some fences here, and that's good. Now, does this mean that they don't intend on trading Brendan Gallagher now, or that they've made inquiries and teams are saying, well, you got to send us a first round pick or a second round pick. It's got to be a top 2 round pick, or we're not taking them. And they're saying, well, we're not doing that. So Brendan, you if you want your $6 million or whatever his salary is for next year, you're going to have to stick around for another year. We want you back. Teams aren't, teams are asking for us to include too much to trade you. So unless you're retiring or we buy you out, we don't want to do that. Stick around one more year and till the end of your contract. So I don't know. It just, well, Sheldon, I mean, yeah, look at the look on his face, it's nice to see. It's not, I'm really glad that the last time that we saw Brendan Gallagher in a in a function that includes the Montreal Canadiens, it was not that interview in the locker room. I'm really glad that there's been some mending offenses here, and yeah. Scott, love the show, Grant. Keep it up. Have to gift you a few cases of beer. Thanks. Yeah. Well, thanks for friending me on Facebook too, Scott. I that was pretty cool. And yeah. Well, whatever. I'm, I do accept gifts. Thank you very much. And by the way, Mr. Paul. Paul Antoniadis sent me just all of a sudden out of the blue this afternoon. I got $100 Interact transfer from Paul, which is pretty cool. He said that he really liked my mock draft that I made up the other day that I put on the Patreon page. So thank you, Paul, as always, for your continued support. Paul, of course, invited me down to a playoff game in a seat that he could have sold for thousands of dollars, and instead said, Grant, I want you to come and sit with me at at a playoff game against Tampa. And they won. Maybe I should have got down to more games, because I seem to have, they only won one other game, I think it was, at home. So yeah, want to know with me attending games at the Bell Center in the playoffs. Maybe we'll have to make a point of getting out to a few more in the future. Perhaps I'm their good luck charm. But Sheldon, thank you for the tuning, my friend. Mike Gadet says save your money. Well, yeah. Excellent mock draft. Thanks, Rick. Habs would do just fine with that pick. Yeah. Well, it's an interesting draft. I'm putting out a second one, like I say, but it will have some modifications with with Buffalo now picking 20th and San Jose moving down to 27. Oh, now I can message you to meet up for the Pine Sled. Thanks, Grant. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Sounds good, Scott. By the way, you'll be happy to hear this. Liam's gonna do a show tomorrow. We're gonna get a Montreal forum off. Liam will have lots to say about CBC no longer carrying Hockey Night in Canada. Now, for any of us folks that, I mean, I go back to the era of the 2-channel era, where you only got a couple of channels on television, and CTV, CBC in English, and French CBC, CB OFT, couple of channels on UHF, PBS and TV Ontario. So, and then when Global came along, we're up to 6. But, I mean, when I was a kid, it was all Lotus Man. You want info on, subscribe. I don't give that away for nothing, my friend. Subscribe to for $5 to my Patreon page right here. You'll get lots of insight when it comes to that stuff. Okay, it's $5 to join for the month. Any info on who the Habs are looking at? Yeah, and I could watch the 2 channels all night long. Yeah. We only have Gary to thank for the loss of Hockey Night in Canada. The old TV antenna, yes, Sheldon. But hey, I mean, it was a huge part of my childhood. Obviously, at one point, CTV had Wednesday night hockey, but it was, for a lot of years, Saturday night Hockey Night in Canada. That was, that was basically it. Unless, I mean, I watched the the odd telecast that was on French CBC, but it was, they show the odd other game, and then at playoffs, of course, you would get to see all of the games, but that's all there was for many years. Was CBC was that was it, and Brian McFarland, Dick Irvin, Danny Gallivan, Foster Hewitt, you know, on and on and on. Dave Hodge, of course, before his blow up, and then being replaced by Ronnie McLean, who's been there for quite a while. I suppose they're going to still, they're not going to lose all the personalities that they have now. I guess it's all part of sports. It just won't be showing on CBC anymore. But um, yeah, yeah. Liam, hey, he even was part of Hockey Night in Canada at one point, doing some trivia stuff. So there was he even posted a picture of him wearing one of those powder blue jackets there. So Liam will have, will have some great takes on him. I always defended the CBC from those who wanted to cut their fandom because HNIC was iconic. Now that it is gone, I don't know if we need the CBC. Yeah, well, yeah, well, look, I'm going to be putting out an article, and I'm going to get Rick to give his takes on it, and Blaine, just on some guys that they think that the Canadians may target in the draft. And I think Blaine's going to write an article, and I will too, just on a few players that I think would be good fits for the Canadians. It's going to be posted on my Patreon page. Look, I'm trying to make a living at this, so I have to, I can't give away all of my secrets here for free. But I mean, typically I charge $20 for the draft guide every year, I'm putting up a load of content, and there's going to be a bunch of scouting videos before and after the draft that I'll be putting up that you can't put in a draft guide, but it's $5 as opposed to the 20 that the draft guide used to cost every year. So, you know, just as much content at a quarter of the price. Support us, please. Rick would really appreciate it. I, of course, will appreciate it if you subscribe to my Patreon page. And hey, the more people that subscribe, the more content that we can put up in the future too. You know, like if it grows here, we can have a really going concern here. A great Habs and Draft Patreon page. You know, the more support that's there, the more content that, the more that I can get other people to contribute, the more we can put up, and the more we'll grow in tandem, of course, with Habscast. So, um, anyways, oh yeah, you subscribed to recruits in the past. Good man, Lotus. Well, like I say, it's $5, and the content on there is pretty good. I'll be posting some scouts comments too, NHL scouts comments coming up. I got to interview a couple of guys before the draft. By the way, I still haven't put up my final rankings. I'm going to pull a Bob McKenzie. I'm getting all of the information that I can gathered together here before I put out a final ranking. I want it to be as, you know, as good as possible, as informed as possible before I put out my final ranking. And it'll be the week of the draft. And, you know, I'll put it my first and only draft rankings of this season will be up on my Patreon page. And I hope, again, if you subscribe, you can have access to it, as well as I'll probably even do another mock draft after the second round mock draft. Things change. It's ever changing. I mean, I put out my draft guide um, 3 weeks before the draft, typically. And by draft day, you know, I'd say, geez, you know, if I could do this again, there'd be some, because more info comes in and you get to, you know, I'm always talking to NHL scouts. I have some good friends in the business, and learning little tidbits here and there, and still, you know, I keep scouting right till draft day, looking at guys. So anyway, this year, with it not having to be put out 3 weeks before, so I could sell draft guides, I'm going to do my final one and only ranking as close to the draft as possible, and I hope it's close to um, what the NHL teams do. But at the same time, I'm always going to have some guys that aren't ranked where Habs rank guys. So let's see here. Can't wait to hear Liam has to say. He's usually so shy about sharing his views. You know, Rick, you don't always have to say that you're joking. We can tell. We can tell when you're joking, my friend. It's always unfortunate to lose a tradition that is part of the Canadian identity. Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I look forward to that too. Rick, it should be well. All all Liam shows are great. I would watch CBC French when the Leafs were on CBC English. Yeah. Oh no, every time, my friend Sheldon, it was sometimes they'd have the Leafs on, sometimes they'd have the Habs, and absolutely, we were fortunate that we had two TVs. I had one up in my bedroom that I could watch. I could watch the CBC French because no one else wanted to. So I would go up to the bedroom and turn on the CBC French and watch that. And then same deal when we moved. and we had a TV upstairs in the living room and one downstairs, and yeah, down down to the basement to watch Hockey Night in Canada whenever it was on the French, because the English one was showing Toronto. Um, any trades you would make for Montreal? We'll get into that in future episodes of Bish Boy. It's not our focus today. And thank you, Lotus Man, for that very kind um, commentary. So look, I interviewed Guy Flaming yesterday. I'm going to play that now. Guy is a great guy. He he's got the pulse on most of the prospects. He sees them live, obviously being the color guy for Edmonton Oil Kings. He sees most of them live, and several of them several times, obviously. uh Rudolph, he got to see a lot. um I mean, he was at the Helenka was in Edmonton last summer, so he saw a lot of the prospects there too, and he has some great insight. And we even got into a little bit of a, you know, a fun little debate, put it that way, about Ethan McKenzie and Bryce Pickford that I hope you'll enjoy. But listen, I'm going to stick around, obviously, here. I'll answer, I'll make a few comments, keep following, and star a few of your comments and questions to address after the show, after the interview with Guy, and I'll come on for a few more minutes afterwards and wrap it up. Okay, so let's roll this chat I had with Guy. I am pleased to be joined by the host of the Pipeline Show. It's a great prospects. If you haven't heard, all right. How come we don't have any sound here? Check it out. It's a great prospect. Um,
19-year-olds, but there will be a really down to earth performance at all.
All righty.
It was really, really good. It just wasn't in an offensive fashion. But the Silvertips didn't need him to be that guy either.
Just hang on, folks. I'll download this again. I'm not sure what the scoop is there. It should. I've never not had sound so on a video before. Let me just check something here. Okay, why would there be no sound on this? Wow. Um, wow. How can I'm not sure how StreamYard can have a pod. We could hear each other, and StreamYard didn't record the audio. How the hell is that even possible? Folks, I'm extremely disappointed about this. I just let me see if there's something I can do about this, but it doesn't appear that there's sound on this. I didn't check ahead of time because I've never had an issue with friggin' there not being sound on a video that I have recorded. That is highly, highly, highly unusual and extremely disappointing. Very sorry about that, folks. Camera recording. Hmm. You can hear the sound? Okay. Well, true.
They count on him to be, the balance to
joined by you, especially at draft time, because it's only 10 days, 11 days away.
Yeah.
And you can hear this, folks. It should be a fun one. And once again, it's a really good. I think it's a really good WHL crop this year, just like last year. Let me know if you can hear this. Last couple of years, it seems like, after a little bit, maybe there was a couple of years there where there weren't a ton of top 60 guys in the WHL. All right. Well, I'll just play it, and good. I'm glad you guys can hear it. I can't. Okay, that's strange. Thanks, folks. There might be more go from the WHL than any other league this year. So, what can you point to any particular reason? Just cyclical thing?
I think that's what it is, Grant. I think it is a cyclical thing, and for whatever is going on right now out west, the last couple of years have been really good. This year's good. Next year is supposed to be pretty good as well. So there's a lot of talent in the West right now, and quite honestly, the Western Hockey League's just getting better with the rule changes through the NCAA and the incoming crop of players, not just from the States, but Canadians who are deciding to stay, and they'll play in the West and then go to college. The league is, in my opinion, better than it has been.
Yeah, and I guess we're already seeing a little bit of the shift, I guess, with these new rules, regulations in college, where you're getting maybe more talent at a young age, like 16, 17, than the past. Conversely, maybe there are some 18, 19-year-olds that typically would be sticking around, but then are going off to college. So it's almost like the talent, the top talent is getting a little younger in the Canadian junior system. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. I think right now we're still seeing most of the guys who leave and go play college are 20 and 19-year-olds. But there will be some 18s, guys who are get drafted now and will go to college next season. And every once in a while, there'll be the guy in their draft year who will decide to play college hockey. But for the most part, there's a lot more players coming to the Western Hockey League and the CHL in general.
Right.
Players leaving it. So I think that makes the league deeper and stronger. And you're going to lose some marquee names at the top end, but you're getting guys who are going to be marquee names a couple of years from now. You're getting them at the start of their careers. So
all right.
There's definitely a trade-off.
Yeah. Now, Dupont, is he going to college next year? Do you know, or has he decided, or have you heard yet if he's staying another year or not?
Nothing but rumors, but it sounds like there's colleges after him, and understandably so. I know he's got I think it was reported today, he played through the Memorial Cup with a high ankle sprain. So depending on his situation there, he might not be ready for the start of the season. Does that affect where he plays this year? It's certainly not going to hurt him to go back to Everett and play another year in the Western Hockey League. If he decides to go to college as a 17-year-old, that's fine as well. But he doesn't need to do that. It's not like he's not going to have NHL success and not be the first overall pick if he plays in Everett again. That would be ludicrous to think that. But whether it's Michigan or Michigan State, I'm sure the big name colleges are trying to get a commitment from him as we speak.
Yeah. You know what? Thanks for reminding me, because I made a list of players to go over here with you that are from the WHL, and there is one omission there. Just happens to be in Everett, that Landon Dupont's defense partner.
Breakfast.
Yeah, like he's going top 60 somewhere. I think it would be a surprise. He just got stronger and stronger as the year went on. Did you happen to see a lot of the last two rounds were on, national television and stuff? Did you get to see a fair bit of Everett in the Memorial Cup games and then in the finals and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. And Liskey, I actually had on my show between like at the tail end of the playoffs, and he was a really good interview. Like just a really down to earth, mature kid, knows who he is as a player, which is, I think, is always a plus. If you can have a 17 or 18-year-old that knows what he can and what he's not good at in a realistic sense like that, I think that it speaks to mental maturity. I really liked him, and I like him as a player as well. And I agree with you. Definitely a top 6 guy or top 60 guy, top 2 rounds for sure. For
yeah. Well, I think with Dupont's injury, he had to maybe step up even a little more with the puck carrying and such in the with Landon's injury. And I thought he showed some nice like he's got some offensive skill to go along with what I think is a pretty sound defensive game already. So I've had guys tell me, and hey, as well as I do, Guy, that it doesn't hurt to get that exposure, going to the WHL finals and then the Memorial Cup. GMs in particular, NHL GMs get to see you when typically they may not during the season because they're busy, but most of them are eliminated by Memorial Cup time. They have the free time, and right. they go to these events, and they, not that they make the total decision on who gets drafted, but GMs, for the most part, for the first pick, at least the first round, often get to see guys and do have some input into whether they get drafted or not.
Yep, and I'm sure that he probably had some interviews at the Combine because of the way that he played at the Memorial Cup, which was interesting. No points at the Memorial Cup, but he was outstanding. Like
he was.
You wouldn't say that he was had a poor performance at all. He was really, really good. It just wasn't in an offensive fashion. But the Silvertips didn't need him to be that guy either.
True.
They count on him to be, the balance to Landon Dupont, who
right.
has that offensive side. So no, Liskey did really well there and was strong all season long. Even dealt with an injury where he missed like a month of the season and came back really well. He's a good player for sure.
Okay, I have a list of WHL guys here that you can add Liskey to that list. We already talked about him, but at the top of the draft, I think most people expect that it's going to be either Karls or Rudolph that go first overall from the WHL. Would you be in agreement with that?
I would have to think so. One of those two, probably Carson Karls. I would have to imagine a little bit more. I think they're really both really, really good players. The difference between them is probably fairly minimal. I think Karls might be a little bit more on the aggressive side than Rudolph, but Rudolph defensively is aggressive. And he'll definitely put up some points as well. He did this year for the Prince Albert Raiders. They're both really good defensemen, and I expect both of them to go in the top 10. But I think Karls is probably the first of those two to be selected. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. I have Karls as the top defenseman in his draft class.
Really?
I've had him top 5 since Halinka. I fell in love with his game at Halinka, and I never swayed from that. I've had him top 5. I've thought since probably October that he's the best defenseman in this draft class. So yeah, you've got me totally in agreement on that. But you know who my second ranked defenseman is now, and this might surprise you, but it's Daxon Rudolph. The amount of that he improved his game from the start of the year, where we were seeing hiccups in his own zone, it's fair to say, a little too often. By playoff time, his game and scouts like to see that the improvement curve going up and up. And I know NHL guys that I've talked to, scouts, all of them were unanimously loved his game by the end of the year. I would not be surprised if he goes top 5 in this draft. I'm hearing buzz about him that probably 6 or 7, but don't discount the possibility that he goes in the top 5.
Well, his performance in the playoffs for the Prince Albert Raiders, fantastic. I mean, he was one of the leading scorers in the entire league in the postseason, and for good reason. I mean, he was always involved in the play, played a ton as well.
Yeah.
Lots of ice time in Prince Albert for Rudolph. He's an outstanding player. I think Carl's game is a little bit more mature, whereas I think Rudolph is still maybe scratching the surface. Maybe there's more upside still to go with him compared to Carl's, but they're both fantastic players. And if Rudolph goes as high as you think he would, I mean that's pretty good for the WHL to have two guys top 5 like that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm suspecting 7 to Seattle, but I mean that's just a guess. But I could see Seattle. He'd be a beautiful fit for. I think that they got to go defense this year. I mean, they've had 5 drafts so far, and not one top 30 pick has been on the blue line. Yeah. Would you think that they might be at 7? That they're probably going to, be looking at Verhoff, Schmitz, Reed, Rudolph if Carl's is already gone?
You would have to think sooner or later it's going to be a defenseman that they take at the high end of a draft. And this year, where they're positioned at 7, it seems like they're going to have their choice 4 or 5 or 6 high-end defensemen. So it seems to be lining up like it could be a blue liner finally for the Kraken.
Yeah, and Hurlbert, I think, or Lynn. Who do you expect to go first among those two at this point?
Probably pretty close to where they'll both be taken. I would say late teens, early 20s, I would guess. Hurlbert is a really good player, lots of skill. Maybe lacks, I guess the knock on him was maybe the lack of a killer drive, where he's a bit of a perimeter player at times. But overall, I think he's a really solid player as well, and put up huge numbers. I mean, 97 points in his first year in the Western Hockey League is nothing to sneeze at. Now, I believe he is going to Michigan this coming fall, so he's a one-and-done guy in the Western Hockey League. Ryan Lynn, who's off to Denver as well to play college hockey. I didn't see him live this year in person. The Oil Kings and the Giants are in opposite conferences, so they alternate a home site. They only play each other once a year, and it alternates year to year. So the last time I saw Ryan Lynn was right around New Year's of 2025, and he was the best player on the ice at that stage of his career. Really mobile, not the biggest guy in the world, but I think we're seeing lots of defensemen at the NHL level now who are not necessarily 6'2" and 210 pounds having success. So I don't have any question, Ryan Lynn, with his mobility and his offensive maturity, that he is going to be an NHL player as well. Both really good players. Late teens probably for both.
Okay. I think Hurlbert might go top 15.
Really?
I know there are some teams that certainly like him. Lynn, I think personally, just from what I'm hearing from some NHL guys, he might be a little more of a there might be a little more of a divergence there, where it's maybe 15 to 25, and in part still it's the we talk about there getting to be more smaller defensemen in the league, but I mean we saw it last year, Guy. There wasn't a 5'11" defenseman taken anywhere near the I don't know if there was one taken in the entire draft, but it's just, it's still, there's still this mentality with the NHL teams that you need a defenseman to be 6 foot plus, unless he just blows you out of the water. Mind you, this year, Villeneuve, Lynn,
Tommy
Black.
Well,
I've got him. He's my out of the small guys, I like him the most.
There you go.
But and I do think that a couple of them at least will go in the first round this year. But they are pretty special junior defensemen, and I think you need to be considered for the first round in today's NHL.
Well, and those guys maybe in a strong year they're second rounders, but does that say something about maybe the potential lack of high
Right.
of this year's draft, that those guys are maybe being talked about as first round picks? Maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
Ryan Lynn, the numbers he put up this year were pretty good, but what would he have done on a team that was as deep as Prince George or Prince Albert, like the Carls and Rudolph, or in Everett, like Landon Dupont? I'm not. I would have to think his points. He might have 25 more points than he did in Vancouver. Vancouver wasn't a great team this year.
Well, unless he's like the third defenseman, like he wouldn't have been running the power play with Everett, right? It'd still be Dupont and Liskey'd be his partner, so he'd be the third defenseman. And I don't know that he'd get 25 more points than
Sure.
he did in Vancouver, but I hear what you're saying.
If we're comparing Carls, like put Carls on Vancouver and put Lynn in his place in Prince George, and I bet the point production is reversed.
Yeah, could be. I do know that Carl certainly defensively is that's why he's going. He's going to go top 5, and Lynn's probably going to go 15 to 25. It helps that he's 3 inches taller, obviously. But yeah, they're both really solid defensemen, and certainly will both be going somewhere in the first round. You didn't get to see Vanacek, I guess. Did you watch any of the U18s? Did you happen to see him in that event?
I actually did see Jakub Vanacek, the Tri-City.
Oh, you did?
In Edmonton this year, and he was by far their best player in that game. Actually, I think he had 2 goals against the Oil Kings. In their single game appearance against each other this season. He was really good. He looked really mature on the back end, skated pretty well. Small sample size, so I can't say that he's a first rounder or anything like that, but he's got decent size. I thought his mobility was pretty noticeable, and when he's able to contribute offensively like that stood out. I think we probably made him the first star of the game, if I remember correctly. But
yeah,
at the U18s, I didn't get to see them play a whole lot. What sort of impression did he leave on you there?
I thought he was the best defenseman at the U18s. I think he's a first rounder. Now, I had one NHL scout saying, well, he was better there than in Tri-City, and maybe because he's on the big ice. But there are 2 ways of looking at that too. Like I know a lot of North American guys that if they have a good U18, they don't get penalized for it being on the larger ice. But so why penalize a European guy that's been playing in North America, who's only played 1 year on smaller ice, for having a good having a good U18, because it just proves that he's only good on the larger ice surface. But I almost look at it the opposite way in some regards. Well, give him another couple of years on the smaller ice, and he's only going to be, as he gets adjusted to it, he's only going to get better at that level. But he might have. I looked at all his goals this year from the point. Typically from the point, he's got a good. I wouldn't say it's Zach Werenski. I mean, Zach Werenski won the Norris Trophy this year, but he finds a way of getting that wrist shot through from the point, and it's pretty accurate and deadly. I think he's a defenseman that is going to be able to score some goals at the next level. And I thought his one-on-one defending was superb at the U18s. Smart, good first pass, good mobility.
Yeah.
I have him in the 20s myself. I'm a really big fan of Vanacek, and honestly, I like him. I like how his game translates a little more than Ryan Lynn, and do have him. I know this is not the usual rankings, but I do have him ahead of Ryan Lynn in my rankings.
Hey, it only takes one team at the draft, to feel the same
Right.
that you do, and
Yeah.
it might look like a reach and a surprise to everybody else, but there could be 10 teams that feel that way. It depends on who's actually making that selection at the time. So it's not
Yeah.
it's not crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Now let's cut to the chase here. The Twins.
Okay.
Now, it seems like the prevailing opinion is that Liam will probably go a little bit ahead of Marcus, and that he seems to be the guy that's rated a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, who was the WHL's leading point getter this year? It was Marcus.
That's
but right. I mean, pretty impressive that the two of them are right at the very top of the scoring race in their draft years. You got to see them, I would imagine, a few times, right?
Yeah.
What is your take on them, and where do you think that they slot?
Yeah, the Tigers and the Oil Kings are in the same division, so they play each other a lot. So we do get to see them. Pretty good rivalry between the two teams as well. So even though they're on the hated rival team, they're really good guys to talk to. I had them both on the show at the same time. A great personality, real just happy-go-lucky guys, always smiling. On the ice, there's always that cliche about twins where they just magically know where each other are. I think it's because they've played together and on the same line together their entire lives. I think that just stands to reason. If they played a lot with Mathis Preston as kids growing up, if he was on their line for the last 15 years, it would be the same thing, right? I mean, they would always know where each other are. But it's a built-in advantage that those two have when they do play together. In Medicine Hat, they were on a line with Andrew Basha at the end of the year when the Flames sent Basha back to the WHL. And then with those three guys up front and Jonas Wu and your boy Bryce Pickford on the back end, that power play in Medicine Hat was ridiculous. It was just lethal. Because Marcus Ruck is such a good playmaker, good passer, and whether it's Basha or Pickford or Liam Ruck, those guys can all finish. So that power play was tremendous, and obviously the stats. Willie Desjardins, he's not a dummy. He's like the Hunters in London. He rolls his big guys constantly.
Yeah,
like those guys do a ton. So the points are there. Would they have put up the same amount of points on other teams where the lines get rolled through a little bit more? Questionable. Their foot speed is questionable. They're not overly big, but they've got a lot of skill. I think we've learned over the years that if there's one trait you can lack at the junior level that you can improve on, it's probably your skating, whether that's just mechanics or just working with your skills coaches and things like that. That's probably, you either have hockey sense or you don't. You either have the natural ability to score goals and make plays, or you don't. But I think skating is something you can work on. So with the Rucks, if that's their biggest flaw, okay, I can live with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the same goes for compete too. You're either competitive. You don't typically learn competitiveness at 25. It's it's kind of ingrained. It sounds like if both of them went in the first round, you wouldn't bat an eyelash.
No, probably late first round though. Like I think, is it Calgary that has like the 30th and then a couple really early day 2 picks? If they were going to get drafted by the same team, I think it would probably be the Flames right now.
Well, that was
able to maneuver and trade and get a couple of picks close together. But like I could see Liam going 25 to 32, and then Marcus probably right around early, maybe the first pick of the second round.
Well, that was my next topic was. I just finished a mock draft of the first round, and the Flames have the 30th pick, and I'm not exactly sure if it's the 34th or 35th, and the 36th. So they've got 3 picks between 30 and 36. Basha was their line mate this past year.
Yep.
They could jump ahead of Vancouver. They've got that 30th pick, and Vancouver's got the 34th or something like that. If not, neither of them have been taken by the 30th pick. I mean, Calgary's got Coronado's undersized. Basha's not, he's a little undersized. They drafted Reshny and Potter last year.
Yep.
I think that they probably take Bjork at 6th overall. The way it's reading, they need a top 2 center, and this kid I love him. I think that he's the perfect fit for, their best Swedish centerman since Kent Nilsson, if they take him. You go back that far.
Yeah.
You remember that name? So they would have like half dozen or more guys undersized.
Yeah,
it's fair to say.
It
However,
yep,
you can always get rid of. You can always assets are assets, right?
That's it exactly.
And may the best men win. And if you end up having too many 5, 10 and under guys in your top 9, you can trade one, and they're worth, they're valuable to other teams. I say go for it. I say jump ahead of Vancouver, because Vancouver are probably thinking, hey, the Sedins, right? We got the Sedin twins. Let's get the Ruck twins. We need a little bit of PR help here after some crap that's gone on the last couple of years in Vancouver. Do you think? You obviously think it. You said it first. Maybe it's Calgary that pulls the trigger on the Ruck twins.
Well, the Calgary came to mind because of where they are sitting currently.
Sure.
With the Knicks. But Vancouver, you make a great argument that if they could get one, then you try to swing a deal and get another pick and pull off the twins.
Yeah,
like they did so many years ago with Brian Burke.
Maybe they should bring Berkey in just for the draft.
Yeah, just a mercenary drafter. Yeah. No, it makes sense though. Either one, I think Calgary to me makes a lot of sense, but you make a good point with Vancouver as well.
Let's stick with Medicine Hat and plus, they look pretty good with Basha too. And sometimes, hey, chemistry. You keep these guys together. Maybe they form a line down the road too. Although, you might want a big. Like maybe a Hanzek playing with those two or something like that, just so you have a big guy to get in the corners and muck it up, and just like Bossy and Trache had Clark Gillies, right?
There you go. Good.
In sticking with Medicine Hat here, Guy, I was talking actually with Bryce. He's off to a camp in Florida for 2 weeks here, so no rest for the weary. He goes, picks up all that hardware at the CHL Awards, and now he's heading to a hockey camp for 2 weeks before. Well, then it'll be development camp with Montreal after that. So
not having shoulder surgery?
Apparently not. I don't know if he's going to a camp. I wouldn't think.
I thought I just read that this week.
Is that right, eh?
That he'd played hurt for much of the year, and he's needing to have surgery in the off season.
Yeah.
You and I had actually had a conversation about halfway through the year because he hadn't played for like a month.
Right.
He was listed as day-to-day the entire time. And if he's having surgery this off season, like I thought that I had just read, that obviously would be stemming back from that stint. But I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, maybe it's not a camp after all. Maybe it's a hospital camp. He's just. But okay. Well, I hope to have him on a podcast soon, and we'll certainly bring that up if and when that happens. But CHL Defenseman of the Year, WHL Defenseman of the Year, WHL Player of the Year. The only surprise for me, Guy, is that he wasn't the CHL Player of the Year.
Yeah, I was surprised it was Maxim Masse. Actually, I thought it would. I thought it was going to come down to Pickford or Sam O'Reilly, and I actually thought O'Reilly would get it playoff MVP, regular season MVP, Memorial Cup MVP. So I thought that it was going to be O'Reilly. But obviously you could make a good argument for all three guys. I mean, they were all deserving, and then Massey was the one who actually got the award, which surprised me a little bit. So
yeah. Well, Pickford almost scored more goals than Massey, and I mean
that was the big thing for Pickford this year. 45 goals this season. I mean, that's ridiculous for a defenseman.
And playing injured and then missing a bunch of games too. Like he would have scored more goals than Massey if he hadn't injured his shoulder, perhaps. That seems to be the hot rumor. But you are in Edmonton. You do color for the Oil Kings, right?
Right. Yeah.
Just give me a bit of like the thoughts in and around Edmonton about all of the rumors with Mike Babcock perhaps being the choice to lead the Edmonton Oilers to that that Stanley Cup that they so desperately want with McDavid and Draisaitl in their primes.
I mean, it's an NHL city, so the Oilers are the straw that stirs the drink here. They haven't been on the ice since the first round of the playoffs, but they lead every sportscast in news because of all this, and they bring it upon themselves. But I would have to say the amount of negative energy around that team right now from the fan base, and I don't cover the Oilers, so I'm not interviewing anybody with the organization about it, but just listening to sports radio here in town and reading everything, all of this quest to get Mike Babcock is just burning the fan base. Like, people are legitimately pissed off that they're even considering hiring this guy. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I almost feel like a lot of fans are hoping the NHL's investigation into Mike Babcock saves them from themselves, in regards to if he's cleared and they hire him. There's going to be a lot of really angry fans. And I don't know how that's going to play out when it comes to free agency. We're already hearing some agents saying, we don't want our guys signing in Edmonton if he's going to be the head coach. So it could really backfire on the Oilers. I'm not sure why they even started going down this path, but you can make the same argument about how they reached out or wanted to talk to a head coach from another team before they had a vacancy at their head coaching position, and that backfired on them. So it's been a off season of turmoil here in Edmonton for sure with the Oilers.
Well, maybe they go the Vegas Knights pathway again and go after Torts now as their backup.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I heard a really interesting stat that a coach that has won a Stanley Cup hasn't won a second Stanley Cup with a different team since Scotty Bowman.
Oh,
so they're all after Cassidy right now. He won a Stanley Cup. If it's that hard.
Yeah. Well, is that McBeath? Ben McBeath?
Ben Macbeth.
It is Macbeth. Okay.
It's like a Shakespeare play.
Yeah. Okay. So it is pronounced Macbeth. I thought so, but you would think McBeath with an EA, but hey, that's fine. Okay. So Ben Macbeth, what's your take on him?
I think I might be in the minority on this one. I'm not as high on him as most people seem to be. For me, he's a late second, early third rounder, but I think there are people who like him as high as early in the second round. He seems to be pretty steady. I don't think he's a big offensive guy at the next level. I think most of his points this year were assists on a pretty offensively loaded Calgary Hitmen team with forwards. So I think a lot of his were probably second assists. I didn't go back and check all of that, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's more of a third pairing guy at best at the professional level. He's okay. I mean, he's got size. I think he's also going to college at some point. I'm not sure if that's this coming season or not. Denver, I believe. Now, Denver's got so many guys coming in, he might actually get pushed back to the Western Hockey League, which would be good for Calgary. But He just seems to be like a really dependable, steady guy, not flashy. I I think I've read reports that say he's pretty physical, but I didn't see that myself. He's a good player. He's not, to me, he's not a great player.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have him. I have him late in the second. That I think is a fair assessment, and maybe even third round, as you say. That might be. I think he goes somewhere between 50 and 70, likely in the draft. So I wouldn't. I think that's a good assessment by you.
Okay.
Mathis Preston. Now if there's anybody in this list that you could say since the start of the year thought to maybe be a top 15 guy
Mm-hmm.
to where he may go in the second half of the second round. I know there are teams that have him, in that territory. Mind you, he does have first round skill.
Yeah.
What is your sense on Preston and where he might end up going in this draft?
I think he's a really good player who had a really bad year. I think his start with Spokane this season was not good. He was snake bit. We did see the Chiefs come to Edmonton this year, and he was really effective in the game, but couldn't buy a goal. And overall, the Chiefs struggled. And then he got traded to Vancouver and got hurt almost immediately and was out for a long time. Got back, and I think he was a point per game player when he was back with the Giants to finish off the year. And then at the U18, I thought he was pretty solid for Canada, wasn't he? So maybe he gets back on track, and this is, you might look 5 years from now, you look back and say, well, that was kind of the anomaly season for him, because he's got tons of skill and he's got good wheels. When Canada at the Hlinka was looking for somebody to spark them offensively, he was the guy who kind of led the charge. And I thought in the shootout and the overtime and things like that, he was a guy you could count on. In fact, maybe he didn't get played enough by Canada. But I actually like Mathis Preston. I think he probably is a late first rounder, but I actually like him more than that. I think I would probably take him around early 20s, perhaps even late teens, depending on who's already gone ahead of him. I think there's more there than what we saw from him this season. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was top 20 all day at the Olenka. And as I say, I think that his stock has dropped off with a lot of NHL scouts. But there's no denying the skill. He's got top 20 skill. Very good stick handler, good shot, pretty quick. There's always a red flag when, like, why did Spokane trade him, right? There's always stuff that you don't necessarily know about when you're, and it's not like he was 19 years old or something, and that's why they traded him away. He's still got at least a year, maybe 2 years left if he, presumably if he doesn't go the college route too. But why do you trade away a player that skilled if you're Spokane? And I think there might be some character questions with some NHL teams, and Mathis Preston, just the consistency seems to be an issue with him. And at the NHL level, as we see, is certainly at playoff time, the inconsistent players sometimes they're not even dressed, no matter how skilled they are.
That's possible. I think I won't be shocked if 5 months from now he's in a Medicine Hat Tigers jersey. I think he's a guy who could be a trade commodity for Vancouver. I don't expect the Giants to be world beaters this year. So if that's somebody that they move on to try to improve themselves down the line, I could see Willie Desjardins and Medicine Hat being the prime target for Preston, Mathis Preston, because he and the Rucks have a long history. And if he's there and he's playing with those two, and then he's suddenly a 100-point guy, that would look pretty good if you're a day 2 pick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there have been 100-point scorers in the WHL that never get a sniff in the NHL, but
course.
yeah, it wouldn't hurt. And playing with those two guys, I mean, third line guys could maybe score 80, 90 points next year playing with the Ruck brothers. But he maybe Calgary. Like, imagine if they pulled the trigger and they ended up getting like at 30, 34, and 36, they ended up reuniting the the super line from their minor hockey days. That would be that's an interesting scenario too that might play out.
Yes,
with,
and Frank Conroy would send all three of them to the NCAA the following season because he loves his college guys.
There you go. And Zach Olson, I really like this kid's compete.
Yes,
and I saw him sometimes, like, he gets the puck along the boards and guys hit him, and he just goes right through them. You know, I think he's a pretty sturdy young man, and I think because of his compete level, maybe as much as anything, kind of in that Carson Wetch kind of mold in that regard, where maybe not the most skilled guy, but just will go in the second round because of his compete and sandpaper, maybe more than anything.
He's a power forward for sure. At the pro level, he might be offensively limited. Like, I could see him being a bottom pairing guy, or not a pairing, bottom six guy.
Sure.
At the Western Hockey League level, he's a beast. Like, the Saskatoon Blades and the Oil Kings played in the first round. The Blades won that series, and Olsen wasn't every game, but he was a tough guy for Edmonton to deal with. And there were a couple of games where, I mean, he was the best player in one or two of those games. He's a handful. Like, he's got size. He plants himself in front or around the net, and he's a tough guy to deal with and wins a lot of battles in the corners, as you said. And he's a physical player. There's lots to like about Zach Olson, but I wouldn't suggest that he's going to be an offensive power forward.
Sure.
I think he's more of a grinding power forward at the next level.
Yeah.
But you win with players like that too.
At playoff time. And, he was a big part why I think Edmonton was favored in that series, right?
Yep, they were.
And he'd have been a big reason why that they ended up winning. Can you see him going top 50 just because his game translates? He's got a high floor where you'd think he probably is going to play. It just may not be that high in your lineup.
I'd go with top 75, but I could see him like we're talking 64 picks to be in the top two rounds. Yeah, I could see him being in that 50 to 64 range. Sure.
Yeah. Well, there are always guys that project as bottom six players that go. Some even go at the end of the first round. I mean, typically they're 6'2" or 6'3". He's not that tall. I mean, height's always a big consideration, but. About 25% of second rounders to 35% make it in the NHL. And if you think you can get a guy at 45 that's going to play for you and that's going to contribute and help you at playoff time, we see them picked every year. And to me, Olsen is if you bring a special quality of some sort, and for him, it's just that toughness and competitiveness.
Yeah,
it may there may be a team somewhere in the 40s. Maybe I've got him around 50, but I wouldn't be surprised if especially one that's maybe looking for that element. That thinks, okay, that's what we're missing. We've got the skill. We just need a little more sandpaper in that bottom six. Maybe a team steps up and takes him in the 40s.
Yeah, I like him as a player too, so I agree with you.
Okay, good stuff. Chase Harrington, former teammate of Mathis Preston, two very different type of players, but at the end of the day, they may not go that far apart. He's kind of a little bit in the Zach Olson mold, where the skill level. He doesn't project as a top 6 forward in the NHL likely, but he may well be able to find himself a role on a team's bottom 6 somewhere.
He's a good skater as well, and he's got decent size. I would say he's not spectacular in any one facet, but if he was, then you wouldn't be talking about him as being a bottom 6 player, right?
Right.
No, I think he's a good player. I don't know that he's an amazing player. I think maybe he would underachieved a little bit this year. I think expectations were higher for him than he delivered on, but you could say that about the Spokane Chiefs in general. I think when Preston was traded, Harrington was probably their best player. I don't have their stats in front of me, but I would be surprised if he wasn't their top scorer, if not, one of their top guys. He's a good player. He's above average for me. I don't go out of my way to draft him, but if he's there and you're getting to the end of your list of players that you like, then I would consider him for sure.
Yeah. I think he might, it might be a guy that you're most comfortable in the 3rd round somewhere saying, okay, this is a guy we'll take. I've got him around 60. So, I mean, an NHL list, typically, if you've got a guy ranked 60th on your list, you're probably taking him in the 4th or 5th round, right. At the highest. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's more of a mid-round guy. But at the same time, like a lot of drafts, by the time there's not a lot of Americans this year, it's kind of a thin crop in the U.S. It may be, somewhere at the end of the 2nd, because just like Preston, I don't know that he had his best season either.
Right.
And maybe he bounces back next year, finds his game, and you're thinking, this guy would have been a very good pick to have maybe at the end of the 2nd round. So,
right.
But we'll see. Now that, those are the WHL guys at the top of my list right now. Who, if you're looking at this, Guy, who would you maybe, either honorable mention or even perhaps ahead of a couple of these guys for you?
Well, I'm going to shout out a couple of Oil Kings since I get to see them a lot. Ethan McKenzie, who's 19 now, and didn't get drafted the first couple of years. He had a fantastic season for Edmonton this year. Played for Canada at the World Junior Championship as well. He will be off to North Dakota for next season. He will definitely get drafted, and I would be shocked if he's not taken at least in the 2nd round. He's
shocked. He's 19. Guy.
Yes,
he might go in the 2nd, but it would be late, I think. I liked his year. Certainly, he and he got that exposure being at the U18s and such, but you would be shocked. That's okay. Not many 19-year-olds go, are definitive. I mean, Bryce Pickford went in the 3rd round.
Yep. But he didn't have the season at that stage that he had this year, Pickford. And McKenzie this year was way better than he had been previously as well.
Pickford was absolutely lights out in the playoffs and then the Memorial Cup, and like he set records. He scored 9 straight games in the playoffs. Anyway, that's it. That's interesting.
Which one of them played for Canada at the World Juniors this year?
You do see. Yeah. Well,
there you go.
There's guys that play for Canada at the World. I would not have had Ethan McKenzie ahead of Bryce Pickford at the World Juniors, and not in a million years. But hey, you get to see him every day. We're both a little biased in our opinions. Sure. I think it's fair to say in that regard.
No problem.
You're sticking up for your home guy, and I'm sticking up for my Habs pick. But hey, Ethan scored a big goal, right? He played decently there. I just, I talk to NHL scouts, and there's guys. There's certainly teams that aren't going to have him in the second round, but all it takes is one, as you've said, Guy, and and with the exposure that he got, and especially at the World Juniors, and again, who were at the World Juniors? GMs, right? NHL GMs.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if he goes in the second round. I don't know if I'm going to have him ranked in the second round, but I wouldn't be surprised if the guy who took Bryce Pickford's spot at the World Juniors inexplicably goes in the second round.
Fair enough. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I like him a lot. I think his compete is top of the line.
Yeah, it is.
And he's really mobile and can contribute offensively. And I think at North Dakota, he's going to surprise people there too. And he might play. I mean, at his age, he might play further up the depth chart than Carson Karls and Keaton Veroff. Even though Veroff's a returning player, he's still only 18. So I expect big things from Mackenzie at UND.
Okay, here, folks. Now he's not only is he better than Bryce Pickford, he's better than Carson Karls. That's going to be my that's going to be my title. I've got it for this show now. Thank you very much.
Taken out of context, but okay.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about goaltenders at all.
That's my next. Yes.
And there's
yeah.
And most of the good ones are from the Czech Republic. Like there's probably 10 WHL goaltenders on the radar for the draft. There's only one Canadian one. It's here in Edmonton with Parker Snell, and he's not a lock to get drafted. He could be a 6th, 7th round or not get drafted kind of guy. But there's like 5 goaltenders from the Czech Republic or Czechia that are in this league who are probably all going to get drafted this year, like Michael Orszalak. And now I put my glasses on to get the list of all the other ones. Pardon me for this, but like Filip Ruzicka in Brandon with the Wheat Kings.
Sure.
He's a monster and really a strong goaltender. And Portland's got Andrei Stebatak and Marek Sklenichka, who plays for the Seattle Thunderbirds. And then there's a guy in Tobias Tversnik who was in Wenatchee this year, a bad team, and he's got really good numbers on a bad team. That tells me a lot too. So, I mean, I'm really intrigued by the goaltenders in the dub this year. And there's some Americans as well. Harrison Bettiger, who was with Kelowna at the Memorial Cup, played for the U.S. National Development Program once upon a time. Carter Casey was a USHL darling last year when he took Waterloo to the Clark Cup final. He was okay for Medicine Hat this year. There's a lot of goalies in the WHL this year, and I don't see they don't get a whole lot of attention. I'm not sure why.
Well, I only put up guys that I thought, aside from Ethan McKenzie, guys that I thought would go in the top 2 rounds. But I do see a run on goalies in the 3rd round on.
Yeah.
And I think the WHL especially, there might be like a half dozen that go in the 3rd round. That are goalies in the WHL. They seem to be the hotbed. No other league, put it that way, has as many promising goalies that are going to get drafted as the WHL. And as you say, it's kind of interesting that just about all of them are Czechs.
Like only one of the 10 is Canadian. I'm not sure it's a limited thing to the dub right now, or what it's like in the OHL and the Q, but I was a little surprised by that.
We need to, I don't know, Hockey Canada needs to do something, I think, in their development plan where they, fallen behind with the development of goaltenders in the past decade. And I mean, you look at the Olympics, you look at it's like for some nations, maybe their 6th best goalie would have been the starter for Canada. Some could have argued, and it just, for whatever reasons right now, there is the development of Canadian goaltenders seems to be stalling.
Yeah, I mean, we still got some like Ivan Kovic.
Oh, sure.
Kovic is really good, and Ravensbergen is really good. Carter George is a good goaltender, but we don't seem to have the same sort of volume of goalies as a country like Czechia has right now.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
seems to be the goalie factory at the moment, doesn't it? And Russia as well.
Russia, and Czech. Yeah, yeah. Maybe we need to steal a couple of their gurus there. But yeah, well, it's going to be a fun draft as always. I'd love to get a list from you again this year, and I'll put it up on my Patreon page if we can talk you into it. You certainly see a lot more of these guys than I do. Um, uh, you're more than welcome to give me a list of who you think, just the ranking of your WHL guys that you've seen, and I'd appreciate it, and we'll get that list up just like we had in the draft guide last year.
Okay, sure. I could probably whip something up here.
Okay, that's great. See, I put you on the spot there, so you couldn't say no.
Hard to say no now.
Smart, eh? All right. Guy, thank you so much as always, and enjoy the draft. And maybe we can have you on after to talk about the Ruck brothers and Preston all getting drafted by your favorite team, the Calgary Flames.
Not my team. I'm a Flyers guy.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I for some reason I thought it might be Edmonton, but
no,
don't know why I thought that. But.
Too close to the Oilers situation here to be a fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Eh? What Eric Lindros? It would have been even before that. Rick Tocchet.
When TSN first started, our whole thing was we're going to show you games that you don't get to see normally, because certainly in Western Canada, I'm not sure what it was like where you were, but growing up, all we got was Montreal or Toronto. And then when they started to have in a late game, then you'd get Vancouver. You're sick of those three teams by the time, eventually the Oilers joined the league. And so I was about 8 years old when that happened. And great, you're all caught up in the hubbub and the celebration of that. And then they win their cup and you're just inundated with Oilers are so great. Oilers. Well, I got sick of it. And then TSN came around and started showing us games from other markets. And the first time I saw a game from the Philadelphia Spectrum, I was like, those jerseys look cool. I like this team a lot. Pelle Lindbergh was in net. He had that mask. That was my team. Brian Propp.
Yeah.
He was the guy. And then, of course, like guys like Rick Tocchet and Tim Kerr and Dave Poulin. Players like that. I mean, and then the Oilers beat them twice in the Stanley Cup Finals in the 80s.
Well, but that they took them to 7 that one series, and it was like they had like a dozen rookies or something. Keenan coaching, that was quite a Hextall stood on his head, and that was a heck of a series that one, and it came damn close to winning the cup that year.
Yeah, so I've been a Flyers guy since about 83, 84.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, what do you? Where are they drafting?
21.
21, eh?
Yep.
It's kind of a bit of a surprise there that they ended up. I thought they'd be top 10 again, but they had a pretty good run. So
the Flyers are coming around.
They are for sure. Okay.
All right, Grant.
Thanks for everything, Guy, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Always fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Guy Flaming from the Pipeline Show. Go check out his podcast if you're into the draft at all. It's great. Francois, look, he's saying here, maybe you could do a scouting video on McTavish the way you did for Stamkos this year. Maybe use a match in the series just before his coach sat him to understand what happened. I wanted to do all that. I wanted to do scouting videos, NHL scouting videos, and put them up. One of the reasons why I started a Patreon page was because it's a workaround where you can actually post that kind of stuff, and you don't Oh, Francois became a member here instead of the Patreon page. Okay. Maybe what I can do, Francois, is I meant become a member of my Patreon page. But tell you what, what I can do there, Francois, is gift you a subscription to the Patreon page. Um, but you have to keep renewing your membership if you want it next month and stuff. Anyway, that's fine. But you know, I when I started this originally, the plan was to have everything on Patreon, and nobody signed up. I think like I'll have all my podcasts on Patreon, and people subscribe, and the response was very tepid. So I kind of rejigged things and made the podcast free. Started doing live ones, and then good people like Mark here that started to send money. It kept it going. The Marks of the world here kept me rolling through my first year of doing Habscast, and thank you so much for the $20, Mark. Um, so the Patreon page never really got rolling like I'd hoped. I concentrated on Habscast. I put up a couple videos, but when you only got like 30 people, 30 members on your Patreon, it's kind of a waste only, to put up great articles, to put up great videos that only 30 people are seeing. It wasn't really worth it. So I haven't been doing it, but it's got the chicken and the egg type thing, right? Like, the more people that subscribe, I know I've been harping on this, but the more people that subscribe to my Patreon page, the more stuff I can put up there. I can do, a video on Slav. I can put up there. I can do McTavish scouting videos and all that. They don't get flagged on my Patreon page, but not if there's only, I'm up to 80 members now on Patreon, so it's almost now worthwhile. But that's still what, $300-400 a month, and it's not a lot of people. So the more people, the more that my Patreon page grows here and people subscribe, the more content we can put up there. The more, I'll put up NHL scouting videos. I'll put up draft stuff. I'll put up NHL draft Habs articles. In addition to this draft stuff that I'm doing right now, but the support's got to be there. Like, there's not much use, Certainly when I had 30 members, which is what I had for most of this year, it's not worthwhile to, for 30 people to see a scouting video. And, you know, uh, 30 people at $5 a piece is $150 a month. Not a huge amount of income coming in there. We put up a few articles and stuff, and people remain faithful. But, I wanted to get to this point for all the people that did keep subscribing. I thank you very much, because I know I didn't put up a ton of content this year, and partly just, having to concentrate on the Habscast, but also just not having the support on the Patreon page to make it, a going concern. But it is part of the plan here going forward, where I'd like to get it up to a couple hundred people on Patreon, a couple hundred members. And if I can get up to that, I'll post a ton of videos um, on the Patreon page, articles. I'll keep. I can even pay Bob and Rick and Blaine, which I've done a bit here. I did for the draft. I gave Blaine and Rick a little bit of money, but it's got to be coming in for me to give it out too. So, the more people that subscribe to the Patreon page, the more it can grow, and the more stuff like scouting, NHL scouting videos, I'd be more than happy. The plan, my original plan, I would hope, if I got a lot of people that signing up to Patreon, was, put up highlights from the Habs games up there. Focus on, like, let's say a Slav scouting video from the last game and all that. But again, it's just for, if you only got 30 subscribers, it's just not worthwhile doing it. So anyway, uh, let's hope that that the Patreon page can grow here, and that down the road that we can get good enough numbers. The more people that are subscribed, the more content that I can get up, because I want people to see, to see it. Can't just be a small audience. Oh, for the Chester Get Well Fund. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, Chester has some heart issues there. We, yeah, he's on some heart meds, and he's getting better here. But and I'm walking him a ton. He's getting about 5 walks a day. We did landscaping in the back and resodded it, so he can't go in the backyard anymore. So it's kind of worked out, because I'm getting out walking more. Chester's getting more walks, shorter walks because of his heart stuff, but a few each and every day, and he's doing pretty well. Mark, I really appreciate your double hit there. Again, most of you guys are good. I realize that a lot of you are subscribers already to the Patreon. Here is the the address if you do want to sign up. Patreon.com, the Habscast. Just Google Habscast Patreon and it'll come right up. But we're going to be putting a ton of stuff up over the next 2 weeks, and then I'll review the Habs draft on Patreon. I'm going to have articles on who I think the Habs will target. Blaine's going to do the same thing. We've got mock drafts coming up. We've got my rankings coming up. So hey, if we can get I'd love to get it up to 200 members, and we'll see. Well, hopefully that's kind of my summer goal here, if possible, to going into the upcoming season, to be having 200 members on Patreon, and then it's then it's there's enough people there. There's a nice community. There's enough income coming in that we can grow it as the year goes along, and go from there. What else have we got here? So you caught that. I guess there was some before following you, I never paid attention to prospects outside the top 10. Your show is eye-opening. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Well, who went outside the top 10, eh? Lane Hudson. So it's not a bad idea to pay attention to those guys. Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron went outside the top 10. It's sometimes those guys, Shea Weber, it's those guys that don't go in the top 10 or even the first round sometimes, are what turns franchises around. Once upon a time, the Edmonton Oilers drafted Kevin Lowe 30th overall, Mark Messier 3rd round or 2nd round, and Glenn Anderson 3rd round, or 3rd and 4th. 3 Hall of Famers, right? Kind of set them on their road to a dynasty. So Larry Robinson, 2nd round pick. Sebastian Aho, there's a good example right there. Yeah, for sure. I also want to give a shout out here to my good friends at Bonachère Caves. They are a private family-owned business run by hockey fans. BonachareCaves.com. You can see the address, the website address at the bottom there. They're open for the season right up until Thanksgiving. Fantastic spot to hang out. If you're in the Ottawa area and you want to go see a really cool, and I mean literally cool place, go to the Bonachère Caves. It's about an hour from Ottawa. 613-628-2283. You go there. You don't have to book anything. You just go, and you'll there's tours going on every 15 minutes. You go through. It's just a fantastic outing. And hey, while you're there, ask for my hockey book, and they'll give you a free copy. Okay, I left 200 copies of Valley Snapshots there. There's Caveman Chris with one of his employees holding up the book. They're free, so you get a $25 book if you pay $25 for the tour. So it's basically a free tour. If you go up to the caves, adults $25, kids only pay $15 admission. Bonachère Caves, check it out. You won't regret it. And Next Level Hockey. These guys, I'm going to do a seminar in early July. Hopefully, it's at the same time as the development camp, and I can do both in the same day. But we'll see if we can coordinate it. But these guys are specialists in hockey development, trusted by NHL prospects. Whether you're looking to elevate your shooting, skating, stick handling, or overall game, NLH is here to take your game to the next level. Visit them at nextlevelhockey.com and follow their Instagram at nextlevelhockey_ for daily tips, posts, and updates. If you or someone you know have young aspiring hockey players who want to elevate their game, trust Next Level Hockey to guide them forward. Next Level Hockey. It's in the name. All right. Francois, since you misinterpreted that when I said subscribe to my Patreon page and you subscribed here, what I will do is I'm going to post my email here, my work email. Send me an email, Francois, and I'll gift you a subscription to my Patreon page. Okay, I appreciate that. We've got something like 60, 70 paying members right now. Again, I'd like to get that up to 200. We'll see, but I'm working my butt off here, posting content. I'm getting about 2 subscribers a day, which again, I kind of expected a little more, but I'll keep plugging away at it and hope that folks start subscribing. It's $5 Canadian, $5 a month for the Patreon page. So we're not asking too much. All right. So interesting interview with Guy. I think the main takeaway there was the stuff for Habs fans was the stuff about Bryce Pickford. To say the argument, well, he was on the hey, Joe Hickett's played 45 minutes a game on Canada's defense one year. You can't go by Ethan McKenzie making the team and Bryce Pickford not for any kind of proof that he's a better defenseman. I mean, no NHL scouts that I know thought that Ethan McKenzie should have been on that team instead of Bryce Pickford. It was a head scratcher for everyone. I don't mind Ethan McKenzie. He wasn't bad at the World Juniors. He's nothing special in his game. He's not overly big. He's not. I mean, he competes and he skates okay, but I don't know. I I don't think that he'll go in the second round or certainly in the top 50, but maybe at the end of the second, early third, perhaps he goes. But again, apparently Scott Wheeler posted something about uh, you know Bryce Pickford needing shoulder surgery. Now, my understanding is that, like, I mean, I was talking to Bryce, and he's off to a hockey camp here, right? If you need shoulder surgery, would you be going to a hockey camp? No, I would say no, you don't. And why would he, if he needed shoulder surgery, I mean, the Canadians you can be worked on the next day if you need surgery, if you're property of the Montreal Canadiens. So it's not like, oh, well, we can't get you booked in here. Why would he not have had it yet if he needed shoulder surgery, right? Why would you be waiting till summer to get the surgery when your rehab would only mean that much longer, into next season? Like, his last game was 6 weeks ago. If he needed shoulder surgery, he'd have had it. He'd have had it more than a month ago. Wouldn't be saying, oh, well, he's coming up like mid-July, he's going to have shoulder surgery. So, take from it what you want, but I don't like. I just think it's a rumor. It's unfounded. Maybe maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he goes to this camp and then has shoulder surgery after that. But that's not how things work as a rule. If you need a shoulder surgery, you're not going to hockey camps and you're not waiting 2 months to have surgery so that you miss, half of next season. It would have been months ago, that he'd have had the surgery, and he'd been recuperating for the last 6 weeks, not having surgery and going to camps. And so anyway, we'll see, but I think that somebody got some misinformation. It would be what I would suspect as far as that goes. Now, what's like? I saw Lionel Messi score a hat trick last night. 38, soon to be 39 years of age. Yet I've seen tons of posts over the last day, like negative posts. Well, he did it against Algeria, and other people did it. Yeah, were they 38 friggin' years old? No, like there's Leaf fan is like the European. The Marner haters, Leaf fan Marner haters, are kind of like the European Messi haters, because there's lots of them out there. Like, how can you disregard what Lionel Messi has done in his career? He's the best ever. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I have watched a lot of Lionel Messi videos, and the man is he's one of the greatest athletes of all time. Just unbelievable. And for people to take, oh, well, to make negative comments out of him at 39 years of age, scoring the only 3 goals. There was one comment saying, well, Argentina wins with or without Messi over Algeria. It was 3-0 and he scored all 3 goals. So how, I don't know. That sounds like it's a tie if they don't have Messi. But Anyway, it reminds me of how Leaf fans have been, Mitch Marner wins the NHL scoring race in the playoffs by 7 points, like 20%, 25% more points than any other player in the entire playoffs. And Leaf fan and even some media guys, uh, you know, let's cherry pick. Oh, game 4, 5, and 6, he only had 1 point. Yeah, against the Stanley Cup champs who shut down every friggin' top guy. Mitch Marner had 8 points against Carolina. Suzuki, Caulfield, Nate, like all Stutzla, Kachuk, you name any of these guys that played against Carolina, and the top guys in Philly. None of them. The most points anybody other than Marner had was top players was 5. Marner had 8, but see, Marner doesn't come in, doesn't show up for the big games. Well, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your Austin Matthews, Leaf fan, right? 0 goals in 6 Game 7 elimination games in his career. 0 wins, 0 goals. So, come on. Marcus just mentioned about the, they're not happy about Jim Hiller. We'll wait and see on him. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't, I wasn't in the dressing room in LA for 3 years studying his coaching techniques, I mean, is it a huge name? No, but, you know, um, well, he won 2 playoff games in Toronto. In LA. 3-8 is his playoff record. So, I mean, I posted, because I like to rile up Leaf fans a bit. I said, he's a perfect fit for the Leafs. He's averaged 1 playoff win per season in his coaching career. So, yeah, they're not. He's not a sexy pick. He's not a well-known pick. But at the same time, he's not a recycled coach that has been, been with 7 different organizations. Tortorella's not getting contract. He's not coming back to Vegas. It's probably a fairly mutual decision, I'd say. Torts, I don't know. They couldn't have been too happy that they lost a 2nd-round pick. Got fined heavily for the little stunt about, the little temper tantrum for not talking to the media. Calling, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard. That probably didn't go over too well with McPhee and company. Not pulling Carter Hart, even though he had an 850 goals, set records, futility records in the playoffs that no goalie in the finals that no goalie had ever set. And ultimately not winning the prize either, falling short. But, they probably added it all up. He's 68 years old too. He said, "Oh, I'm only going to come in interim." Probably a mutual decision, right? Move on from Torts. Almost did it with him, but move on. And I don't blame them for the things I mentioned there. Where it could have. I mean, all this happened in a couple month period. Imagine over 3 years, it would things would pile up pretty quickly. Torts is torts. Lots of haters out there. Yeah, I mean, how pathetic does it look on the Leaf fans that are, as soon as Marner didn't has some success. I mean, I get where they're defensive because everyone was, oh, Marner this, Marner that. Well, hey, come on. You know, they friggin' threw his jersey on the ice. They basically ran him out of town, and he turns around and he takes a team, leads a team to within 2 wins of the Stanley Cup. He leads the NHL in points in that year. Like, yeah, it very, for very good reason. People were lauding Mitch Marner, and you know, it wasn't him that was the reason that Toronto lost all these years. I mean, how could you think any differently? It wasn't him, you know. So for them to just now jump on him because in 3 games he only had 1 point. Well, he still played well. Yeah, he didn't. Who Jack Eichel? How many points did Jack Eichel get? None. Anyway, it's just that Toronto. I guess if you go 60 years without winning a cup, I guess a lot of character quirks. You get a little bit mentally unstable when it comes to a few things. You're a little defensive, a little overreactionary, I guess. Leaf fans are looking for comfort any way they could by judging Marner for these last few matches. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Plays the trap. Oh. Well, most NHL coaches do. Tortorella wanted to come back based on the GM comments, but they wanted to go another way. Yeah. I don't doubt that. Marner can play any position and has at the NHL level beside goal. He's a stud. Yes, he is. He absolutely is. And I, for one, was glad that he Francois send me an email, and you'll have to get in touch with me. I put up my my email address there. Send me an email, and I'll gift you a subscription for the next month. Okay. And you can always subscribe there if you like what you're seeing. Just subscribe at the. Oh yeah, okay. I haven't got it yet. Did I put the right email address in there? Let me just double check that. GrantRecruits@gmail.com. I didn't get it. Francois. Maybe try again. Maybe it bounced back. I don't know. Good to see that star next to Francois's name in chat. Yeah, about time, eh? May not be loading here. Down in the dungeon. Perhaps it just hasn't come through yet, Francois. Canada's plays tomorrow. Soccer. Have to check that out. Not a huge soccer guy, but I like I enjoy the World Cup. Put an I in recruits. Yeah. Even though recruits is spelled without the I in French, is it? That's why I went with recruits like that. For you French folk. No, hasn't come through yet. I was hoping to get confirmation on this shoulder surgery thing, but one way or the other. But again, just logic states that if he's gone to he's gone to a hockey camp and he hasn't had surgery yet, he isn't. There isn't going to be any shoulder surgery. So that is my Pickford update. Once again, congratulations to him on winning 3 out of the big 4. Should have won the Canadian CHL Player of the Year too. I mean, you know, Guy saying, well, he expected O'Reilly or Sam O'Reilly, but I was surprised he even won the OHL. I mean, what do you have, like 70 points or something like that? Pickford almost had as many goals as O'Reilly did points, and he's a defenseman. So to me, it just, I think what it was, one NHL scout told me, oh, just, appease the French, the Quebecers, right, by giving it to Massey. I mean, no disrespect to Max and Massey, but 51 goals and, on a stacked team. It's not like, Bryce Pickford played on a stacked team, but so did, I mean, Massey's team went to the Memorial Cup and Pickford's didn't. So he was on a stacked team. They have summer cap, the development cap. Yeah. Yeah. Let me check my spam here. No. Oh, but somebody's blocked my account though. Oh, we blocked your account again. Oh my God, I got 3. We blocked your account. Emails and spam. I'm worried now. See, Mark? Should have made me look in there. Now I'm all worried. No. Nothing from a Francois. Huh. It's Grant Recruits is the right. Yeah, it's not Recruit Grant. Recruits Grant? Grant Recruits, right? Mark, send me an email. See if yours gets through. GrantRecruits@gmail. One minute. Oh, geez. Okay. We have 868 people watching on X and 33 on Habscast on YouTube. Crazy. Folks, if you're watching on X, hop on over here. Don't be shy. I hope we get all top prospects at the camp this summer. It would be nice seeing H, Jarosky, etc. Yeah. Hopefully Pickford. Hopefully he's not getting shoulder surgery at that time. Yeah, it would be nice. I hear you. Oh, look at this. I just got an email from Mark. Francois, I don't know what's going on, buddy. Did you grantrecruits@gmail.com? Try it again, my friend, because it did not come through. Mark's came through instantly. So it did. All right. Okay. Well, I think. Yeah. Okay. Good idea, Francois. And I will do a Mason McTavish video. And anyone else that wants to see it that's not a member, go to Habscast Patreon, sign up, and for $5, I think it's like $4 American, something outrageously low like that. Let's just get this up here. Here we go. So Habs cast prospect and Habs coverage leading up to the draft and after. We've got yours truly, Rick, Bob Trask, and Blaine. Bob, by the way, wrote another great, fantastic article today. I wish more people were seeing these, but I can't make it free. I gotta try to get people to subscribe. So, but Blaine has written 2 great articles. Bob has written 2. Getting a mock draft from Rick tomorrow. I did a first round mock draft. I'm doing a 2-round. Probably by the weekend it'll be up. My rankings will be out next week. $5, folks. That's all it costs. What do you think a realistic price would be for McTavish? Yeah. I don't know. Like I have a feeling they may not go for McTavish, you know. But I'll do a video up on him. I mean, I love McTavish. Okay, why am I black now? I mean, I know his old man. You know, friend. He's a friend, his dad. So I'm going to be a little biased probably in my. I loved him. I had him ranked 2nd overall in his draft year. I think he's um, he's a gamer. I don't know what went wrong in Anaheim this past year, but certainly right up until that point in his career, he's never had a coach that disliked him. I don't know what happened. Sometimes, all it takes is one guy, right? One coach not crazy about you. It can affect your career. And, I think he needs a new start, and he'll be a really good player somewhere else. Will it be Montreal? I don't know, but were players playing internal games during a development camp, I'd sure like to see Hage and Jarosky play together. Yeah. It's on my PS5 NHL Habs team. Cost me line A and 2 firsts. Wow. There you go. I'm not sure what PS5 NHL Habs team means, but public school 5. Yeah, I guess it probably means PlayStation, right? I've never played PlayStation in my life, just so you know. Only heard about it from Mark Bergevin. Yeah. Last video game I played was Pong, Mark. Coleco. We were so poor we couldn't even afford Coleco. I had I forget what it was called, some knockoff Pong, we couldn't afford the Coleco. I got it for Christmas, and it was Pong and a couple others, and that was about the extent of my video games. What was the one night that I used to play with the little things all coming down, and you had the little spaceship firing stuff? That was about the extent of and Pac-Man. Hey, Donnie, how's it going? Are you Space Invaders? That's it. Yeah. Same age, yeah. Yeah. I had a race car set there at one point. Again, it wasn't Tyco, it was some other brand, but oh yeah, life wasn't that bad. Had my subscription to the hockey news, and officially a Sea Dog now. Hey, there you go. So you're back in the Maritimes, eh, Johnny? Good for you. Oh, and he sent me $10 too. Thank you. Thank you, Mark and Francois, Donnie, and Sheldon for, as always, for being my always there all year. You guys got me through. You guys got me through it. My first year on Habs Cast, it was could not have done it without you guys. Thank you. Mac T wants something with more offense. Want someone with more offense? I don't know. A second line center doesn't have to be an offensive star. I think that's been determined by Stanley Cup winners the last few years. Look at Jordan Stahl's stats the last 4 years, and he won the Conn Smythe. Did he put up more than the 52 points that McTavish had last year? Like, at 20 years of age, Mason McTavish scored 43 points. And he had 42 and 64, so that was on pace for 50-some. 52. So, at 21 and 22 years of age, those are Slav-type numbers. And that's playing center, too, in the NHL at that young age. He's got good size. No, I think the numbers are actually pretty damn good. Just didn't make that next step this year for whatever reasons. And part of it, again, new coach, didn't give him the opportunities that he gave some other guys. Carlson kind of blossomed this year, and Mason kind of took the hit for it. But no, this guy is 23 years of age. Already has 181 points. For an NHL center, you look back over the past decade, not many had 181 points by the age of 23. So no, I think that there's some untapped potential there for sure. I'll have a look at his video again. I might be a little biased because his old man and I are friends, but I don't, I'm pretty good at. I'll say what I'll give my honest opinion. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So what I am going to do is I will make a video, and I can't post it on here. I'll post it on the Patreon page, and we'll if you subscribe to our Patreon, you will be able to see it. And Francois, I never got your email. Try it again there, buddy. Clearly, you made a mistake of some sort, I hope. And you can get that straightened out, and we'll gift you a subscription. The other possibility, if you want, is leave your email here, and I can send you an email. That's up to you. If you don't want to put up here, I understand. Probably get all the girl groupies that are on here bugging you as well. All right, I'm going to 2 hours 20 minutes here. I'm going to have to wrap this up. I got to take Chester out for a walk before it gets much darker. It's probably cooled down a little bit, but we need to take him out for a walk. So I'm going to have to leave you. Sorry, Donnie, you just got on here, but you can always watch the rest of the show here afterwards. Yeah, it's nice not to get these trollers. I don't have any Carolina fans or Buffalo fans coming on after a loss. Kind of cool to have the old gang back. All right, everyone. Thank you, and have a pleasant night. And I'll be doing. Liam's going to have a show tomorrow, and I'll come on after, answer some questions. He's going to talk about CBC and a bunch of other stuff. Liam's always got good content. He'll have this day in Habs history, and seeing that it's, you know, June 17th, I'm sure there's some good stuff that's happened. It'll be June 18th. I'm sure they won cups on June 18th in the past, and Liam will have all of the skinny on that. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great night. It was a great day to talk hockey. Tomorrow will be an even better day to talk hockey. Let's keep it rolling. Keep your stick on the ice. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.